Browns finally went on the clock here on Friday, and Mary Kay, they started the day by picking Cedric Tillman, the wide receiver out of Tennessee, number 74 overall. He is big, he's got good hands, kind of a different body type than they have in that receiver room. What did you think of the pick of Tillman?
You know, I really liked it a lot. I had been saying for a couple of days, actually probably for the last week or so, that I really thought they needed to keep the pedal to the metal and keep adding weapons for Deshaun Watson. You can see that's what other teams are doing. That's what the Ravens are doing right now. And I just really felt like for his first season, you need to get a wide array of pass catchers in there and see who works, see who fits, see who has that natural chemistry with him. And now they've got a lot of guys in there, and I think it's starting to shape up really well.
Ashley, we got to talk to Catherine Raish, one of the assistant GMs here of the Browns, who said that they just want more tools in the toolbox for Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, and you heard it from Catherine, you heard it from General Manager Andrew Berry, that what Mary Kay was saying, there's no such thing as too many wide receivers, and I think, again, that's especially important considering they do have a small sample size of Deshaun Watson with the returning pass catchers in those 6 games, so I do think it's important to keep adding. You know, they also added tight end Jordan Akins this offseason, who played with him in Houston and had some success there. So I do just think it kind of underscores that they want to see what works and have some trial and error and some competition with those pass catchers.
Yeah, and Mary Kay, we've talked about this on podcasts and everywhere else. If you want to compete in the AFC, you can't just have a great defense. You've got to be able to score points. If you're going to go up against Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, I mean, the list goes. We could spend 10 minutes listing the new quarterbacks and some of the older quarterbacks in this conference. They've got to be able to score points.
Yeah, and you can see the trend. I mean, when you look at what Kansas City did last year, they just added one receiver after another after Tyreek Hill left. Once again, you see that the Ravens added Odell Beckham Jr., and then they drafted Zay Flowers yesterday. Josh Allen got a new tight end. So it's in vogue to just keep adding these pass catchers, these explosive weapons, and that's what you've got to do.
Okay, so I was practicing saying the other draft pick's name before we started recording, and I already forgot, so I'm just going to cheat and use the paper. Siaki, Ika, Ashley, a big body in the middle. This kind of tells us what Jim Schwartz wants out of his defensive tackles.
Yeah, because he's the same height as Dalvin Tomlinson. They're both 6'3", but he's got about 10 pounds on Dalvin Tomlinson, according to his combine measurements. He weighed 335, so definitely just a different body type than they've had on that interior D-line. I do think it speaks a lot to what Jim Schwartz wants, and I think it's especially key to kind of hear Andrew Berry describe that Jim is big on players getting as big as they possibly can without losing their speed. And everything you read about Ika and everything the Browns said about him today, he certainly has that quick first step, and they're surprised with, I guess, how quick he is given how big he is too.
Mary Kay, that defensive tackle room suddenly very crowded, which sort of unlike wide receiver, you can't really keep too many bodies there. What do you think this means for the future of that room?
Well, I think you can see there's construction going on here, and it's because they needed to make a bigger room for the defensive tackles now that they have. There's just a lot of big guys. No, there is a lot of competition there. There really is. And I think that some of the guys that were here before are probably going to have a tough time making the team. I think it calls into question what's going to happen with Perion Winfrey. He still has some legal issues. You've got other young guys that, that now are going to have to really fight for their way onto this roster. But I think they have a really strong candidate here in Ika at that second nose tackle, the second defensive tackle spot next to Dalvin Tomlinson. And I think that Jim Schwartz has some really great stuff to work with now.
All right, day 2 is done. We'll have full coverage of everything that happened today and everything that's going to happen on Saturday during day 3. The Browns still have 6 picks left as we're recording this. It'll be at cleveland.com/Browns. Almost made it through.